Before starting this off, no, Curse Chansey is not good in this tier. I don't know where this myth started, but it is not true. Chansey is a defensive Pokemon with a lot going for it. Its HP and special defense stats are absurdly high, making it a solid answer to GSCU's many Psychic, Water, and Electric types. It also has instant recovery in Soft Boiled, and is one of only 2 viable Pokemon with Heal Bell. Chansey only has one weakness, which is Fighting, an attacking type rarely seen in this tier. Chansey is a powerful special wall that can support its team with Heal Bell. While Chansey excels versus special attackers though, it fares far worse into mixed and physical attackers. Pokemon like Granbull can switch into Chansey without any fear and threaten it out. Chansey can be rather passive. While Present does let it threaten Pokemon with special base types, it does pitiful damage into Pokemon with physical base types. Chansey lets in some of the most dangerous Pokemon in the tier, so it's relegated to stall teams. There are several ways to exploit Chansey. Pokemon like Hypno are better special tanks on teams that aren't stall teams. Chansey is a decent Pokemon, but it needs support to be truly effective. Let's analyse the egg Pokemon. Chansey's stats are extremes. Its defense and attack stats are the worst in the entire game, but its HP stat is the second highest of anything in the game, only being outdone by its own evolution. Chansey's high HP is complemented by high special defense, turning Chansey into a fantastic special wall. Chansey is almost unbreakable for special attackers. Its HP is so high that special attackers, such as Mr. Mime, Ampharos, Slowbro, Kadabra, and non-cross-chop Electabuzz deal barely any damage to it. Chansey is also, surprisingly enough, decent at taking physical attacks. Its gigantic HP stat helps offset its atrocious defense stat. Chansey avoids being 2-KO'd by mixed attackers, like Nidoqueen and Gyarados. Chansey is primarily picked for its ability to counter certain special attackers and support its team with Heal Bell. Pokemon like Mr. Mime, Slowbro, Ampharos, Magneton, Lantern, Blastoise, and non-cross-chop Electabuzz stand no chance at breaking it on their own. Most of these Pokemon don't want to stay in on Chansey either, because they risk being destroyed by Present. They barely scratch Chansey. It can repeatedly come in again and again and heal off its Soft Boiled. Soft Boiled is a very nice recovery move to have, because unlike Rest plus Sleep Talk, it only takes up 1 mil star. It's also more instant recovery. Soft Boiled can be spammed against Pokemon like Piloswine and Nidoqueen in an attempt to PP stall them, though 1 crit puts you out of commission. Another valuable move at Chansey's disposal is Heal Bell. Chansey is one of only 2 Pokemon in GSCU with Heal Bell, and it uses it well on stall teams. If your Shuckle or Blastoise got frozen by Piloswine, Chansey can heal that away. Your Crobat got paralysed and now it can't check Scyther, Heal Bell Chansey has you covered. Heal Bell also makes strategies, like Rest Belly Drum Quagsire, more effective, since it can burn the sleep turns for them with Heal Bell. While Chansey is far more passive than Heal Bell Granbull, its far greater special defense let it use the move more safely in some matchups. After Soft Boiled and Heal Bell, Chansey is most commonly seen with Thunder and Present. If Chansey drops Thunder, Quillfish can set up spikes freely against it, which you don't want at all on stall teams. Thunder also smacks Gyarados and can paralyze threats like Scyther. Present lets Chansey threaten Water, Psychic, and Electric types whose secondary typing is not a physical one. Due to a glitch, Present deals massive damage to Pokemon like Hypno, Blastoise, Ampharos, Slowbro, Mr. Mime, and more. Without Present, these Pokemon can just switch around Chansey and abuse its passivity to restore HP. If you're curious about this bug, there's a few videos about it on YouTube. Chansey can also use a counter set to decent effect. Due to Chansey's poor defense of massive HP, even weak physical attacks can counter for massive damage. When Counter Chansey is unexpected, it's very deadly. Counter Chansey can destroy unsuspecting Nidoqueen, Piloswine, Granbull, Dodrio, and Gyarados, who thought they could freely attack you with physical moves. Unfortunately, Counter is illegal with both Present and Heal Bell, neutering its viability. It's still great on certain teams though. Chansey is a staple on stall teams because of Heal Bell and its gargantuan special defense. Chansey is able to completely blank Pokemon like Ampharos, who are otherwise difficult to switch into. Shuckle is a fantastic partner for Chansey, given that it beats physical attackers that Chansey hates, like Granbull, Scyther, Dodrio, and Pinsir. Blastoise can support Chansey with Rapid Spin, relieving some pressure off the egg Pokemon. It also checks the ground types, Piloswine, Nidoqueen, and Gligar. Unfortunately, Chansey has several flaws that prevent it from being on more teams. It's very poor into physical attackers, particularly Piloswine, Quagsire, and Granbull. All of these Pokemon can come in on it without fear and threaten Chansey out. Granbull in particular can use Chansey as an opportunity to set up Curse. You really need to be careful when putting Chansey on a team. Its presence invites in Granbull, ground types, Pinsir, and more. There's other ways to abuse Chansey too. Haunter loves to explode on it, removing Chansey and making Pokemon like Mr. Mime more difficult for stall teams to handle. Chansey is frequently forced into softball spam against ground types, meaning one crit is the end of it. Unless you're using a hard stall team, Hypno is usually the better special wall. It's not obscenely bulky on the special side like Chansey is, but it's still very tanky. Its better offensive presence means it's far easier to fit onto teams. Chansey only fits onto teams that really need its specific skill set, and you need proper teammates to make the most out of Chansey. Chansey also suffers from moveset illegalities. Heal Bell prevents you from running both Counter or Thunder Wave, which is annoying. Chansey is also slow, and it's vulnerable to status. Chansey is pretty solid on the right team, but the amount of teams it fits onto is not very high. As for Chansey's history, it hasn't evolved much in terms of viability. It was in UUBL for some bizarre reason many years ago, but eventually it got brought down to underused. In UU, it's always been more of a niche, B-tier kind of mon. Its moveset has changed quite a lot though. In the olden days, Chansey didn't use moves like Present or Thunder. No, instead, it used its shitty ass Curse set. Curse Chansey is not good. It's awful and you shouldn't use it. It hasn't swept a combatant team since 2018. Curse Chansey sucks donkey dicks. Anyway, yeah, Chansey used bad sets for a number of years. People use bad moves like Toxic and Ice Beam on it, which just let in Quillfish, among other things. It wasn't until 2020 that people figured out good Chansey movesets. Present became popular on Chansey at this time. People also experimented with Zap Cannon, which then shifted to Thunder because it was more consistent. In 2021, Shuckle Stall emerged in GSC underused, and Chansey was a staple on those teams. The rise of Shuckle Stall meant Chansey rose up in usage. Chansey may be a difficult Pokemon to fit, but when you do fit it, it's a perfectly decent Pokemon in GSC underused.